Brothers, and a brofist to you all on this fine Monday. As I've been talking in the chat just before the show started, if you are British, I hope you are enjoying your day's vacation. A lovely government holiday, blessing us all with a day off. And the banks are closed, therefore nobody can trade. We have a wonderful, wonderful day off. But not me, not little old me. No, in the world of the internet, where British things no longer matter because it all becomes a big, messy, global blur, things like bank holidays don't mean a hell of a lot to me anymore. Which is cool, actually, because I do enjoy working. So everybody who is British and going to school and work and normal day jobs and stuff like that, I hope you had a great day off. Unfortunate weather, I'm sorry. And congratulations to the Americans who get their day off next week. Good to you. Good to you. Have some classes off. Lots to talk about today. Weekend is always the nightmare. I was just saying to the chat, actually, weekend is always pretty crazy for me because I don't have dailies and stuff like that. So all your emails sort of pile up and get a little bit crackers. So that's okay. On Monday, we get to talk about that kind of stuff and get out of the way. But the audience is always the lowest on a Monday as well. As everybody's sort of like, oh, there was 2 days off in the Daily Preach. And then they come back on Monday and then Tuesday it pills back up again. So a nice contrast of things going on there. A few announcements. As always, before we crack on with today's daily show. Firstly, there is no daily show at the weekend. There is no daily at the weekend, okay? There is generally a live show, which can either be a game show, a workshop, or a normal web show with me and Ghost just kind of talking at you at 8 PM every Saturday. Every Saturday I do something. It's around 8 PM GMT. If you're not sure what that is, it's London time. It's what most of the world is based around. Why? Because Britain is all-powerful, or was. Therefore, it's just GMT. If you're not sure what time that is in your local area, simply Google it. What time is 8 PM GMT, where I live? And it'll be plus or minus GMT by some hours. It's not difficult to find. I'm sure you guys can cope with that because you are people of the interwebs. But I did come back to my PC on Sunday morning after uploading the web show. I have to do that via Twitch. My Twitch chat box was open. I had been away for most of the day. Sunday is my day of rest. Sunday is when I don't do anything. I try not to do anything on a Sunday rather than turn on my PC, go to Twitch and say, upload. That's all I do on a Sunday. And I saw the chat was full of people at 5 PM or around 7 PM when I checked it, asking where is the daily. It does not take place at the weekend. It does not. The daily takes place every weekday, Monday to Friday, at 5 PM GMT. Just like the 8 PM GMT, you can find that out via the Google machine. It will tell you very quickly what time that is in your local area. And it is twitch.tv/PreachLFW. If you're still very, very unsure, you can find the channel in your own good time and then click follow, and then it will email you. If you have a smartphone, which most of us kids do these days, you can subscribe to it there, and it will email your phone or push something to your phone to say, Preach has just gone live. I tend to stream rather randomly throughout the day. If I have some free time, I will stream something. So that's always good for that. I tend to just, if I feel like I want to talk to some people while I'm doing something, like editing a particularly difficult video, I just turn the stream on, talk to you guys. Now you'll be happy because I can do that a hell of a lot more. You will notice right here is a keyboard. Oh, a keyboard, that's right. Today was a particularly busy day for us. We had the new workstation arrive. Now, there's something really better than Christmas about New PC Day. I love New PC Day. I love it more than anything. I was more excited about getting a second PC than, can I say my wedding? Probably Emma is watching this somewhere. Is she in the chat? Is she in the chat? We'll check that. New PC Day is absolutely fantastic. New PC Day just makes me so happy. Even small things like New Keyboard Day. If you follow the IRL channel, which I don't tend to do anymore as I do a daily video on the main channel, I did like a 30-minute video of me going to buy a new keyboard, with me pushing various keys and keyboards. It's so exciting for nerds, isn't it? It's really good. It's like getting a new football shirt if you're a major soccer/football fan. Getting your new team shirt. Getting a new keyboard for me is really ecstatic. And New PC Day is even better. We got this donated to us because we can't afford to buy things like that. In fact, I could turn the camera, but it might fall. I'm not going to do it, no, because the camera... Funny story, while Stefan Untrill was staying here for the Gamescom thing, the only thing that really got me down was that he borrowed the top of the tripod, because we took the tripod to Germany in order to mount the camera and get steady footage of games, which we couldn't do ultimately. He unclipped the top screw of the tripod and attached it to the bottom of his camera in order to make sure that he could just stick it in the tripod when we were there, and it would be very quick instead of having to screw it in. And he never unscrewed it. So the top of my tripod is currently missing the most vital piece the bit that holds the camera on. So it's sort of balanced rather incredulously across the top. But we have the second workstation here. Now it's now plugged in. We had no monitor, which is hilarious. We had no monitor. It's plugged into the oldest television that was in my garage. This really old TV. I can't understand why it's so much worse than a monitor. Can someone explain that? Is there some techie out there? It is a 720 HD TV. It's a small one, but it is HD standard. The quality is awful, so fucking bad. My God, it really makes me cry. It's really awful. A couple of things as well. People have a lot of new people joining. As you see, the subscriber count is going. It's growing really, really high, which is expected with the launch of Mr. Panderi very soon and patch 5.04, which is on Wednesday. All you new talents and stuff. There'll be a video going up summarising the changes, so you guys aren't panicked and freaked out. For an early warning for you Daily Preach guys, go and check the beta guides that I've done for all the classes. There's one class missing, and it's a monk. One spec, I should say, out of all the specs that is missing. It's just the monks, so you don't need to worry about that. They're not coming on Wednesday. But all you need to do, if you're unsure about how your class is about to change, go and check one of those videos. But anybody else who's sending questions, the best way to send them is preachgaming@gmail.com. Send them there. The Brofist will return. The lighting is coming shortly, so we can get this set up, and the Brofist will return. There'll be a glorious background, a really exceptional background coming to the show, so it looks more like a show rather than me sat in a room, which is what I actually am. And the Brofist will be returning there, so that's all good. Let's move on to some gaming news after all that waffle and announcements and updates and things like that. Oh, one last update. I always forget the fucking thing. I always forget. The big WoW launch live stream we're going to do is probably going to be a 24-hour live stream. It will start before the servers become live, because you guys will be all sort of chomping at the bit, waiting for the servers to come up. I'm sure there will be hundreds of streams of people with a login screen. No way are we doing that at Preach Gaming. No way. We don't wait and chomp at the bit anymore. We're too old for that. So we're going to have a show leading up to the Mr. Panderi release and then live streaming through the evening. We want to include stuff like you guys doing some games. Last time we had a StarCraft 2 tournament. We had a live Ghost versus Mrs. Preach thing. You guys got really involved. We had several hundred viewers for that. It was a really good night. Well, I'm looking for you to suggest some games that you guys want to play together on the live stream in a competitive fashion for fun. It does not matter. As we said with the StarCraft 2, I don't care if you're Platinum or Copper League. It doesn't matter. We just want you guys to enjoy yourselves, and we'll do some commentary and stuff over it. It'll be great fun. Go to the preachgaming.com forums and suggest anything you want to do, or any games you have, free to play or otherwise. It doesn't matter. If they're free to play, all the better. But if you can recommend a good game that you guys want to see played cooperatively, we'll try and sort some prizes out and all that kind of good stuff and get things ready. Let's talk about some gaming stuff. Okay, so Dark Souls. Everybody was going on in the chat about Dark Souls. Dark Souls came out on Friday. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And this was a game that was begged for by the PC community, because it was only on consoles, right? So people were begging and begging to have this on the PC. So they did. They made a copy. They said, okay, look, we'll make a port for the PC. If you guys do follow and endorse it after all you sort of whine and begging for it, then we will always make a PC port. Now, good news is that lots and lots of people bought it for the PC. So that's really, really good news. The bad part is it was a very basic port. I saw lots and lots of complaints about this. It was such a basic port that it didn't look like a PC game. It looked like an old school. Because remember, Xbox and PS3 are really holding back good quality games because that hardware is so garbage. It's years and years old. All the PC stuff that you guys probably have is way more advanced than an Xbox or a PS3 by this point. So they just did a straight up port and it looked pretty terrible. The gameplay is still fantastic, no doubt about it, but the game itself looked really, really bad. Good news! Some hero has made a mod. He's made a mod that includes the high level texture packs. Now, as there were so many of you going on in the chat about this game, I thought I would link this to you. I'll put it on the YouTube video as well. But it's been released today. I'm going to link it in the Twitch chat as well for those guys there. There it is. It's completely safe, don't worry. There you go. There's a comment there. Preach, don't ask for advice and then look at the chat after. I said on preachgaming.com forums, don't comment on me if you're not prepared to listen. Okay. There are some suggestions there, such as Borderlands and stuff like that. Borderlands is only 4 players. I want something where we can get a community interaction. I would love some sort of Europe view versus US stuff, because you guys love that made up in, you know, non-existent actual feud. You like guys like to play on that. So, you know, go and do that. Suggest games there. I would like some stuff that most of you have that isn't maybe... I'd like free-to-play stuff. I'd like to maybe do a big Tribes Ascend war, something along those lines, where we can set up probably a cheap server and just have you guys battle it out in good fun. And we'll play. You can also probably set up something like you guys against the Preach Gaming team, because we're going to have some guys staying with us for the Mr. Pandaria launch. Make sure you go and buy Mr. Pandaria. Don't forget, especially if you're buying the digital version, which you should be by now, unless you're some sort of avid collector of boxes, which end up in a cupboard somewhere or on a shelf. Make sure you go and buy that, just to make sure nothing goes wrong. Always buy early if it's something you're definitely going to play. Trust me, just buy it early so there's no cock-ups in the future. I see so many people buying games just as they're about to come out and having huge difficulties. Don't be one of those people. Buy early if you can. If you can afford to, go and get it. So, Guild Wars 2. I would be amiss, I would be a fool not to mention Guild Wars 2. So let's talk about Guild Wars 2. I had an interesting weekend. I always tell you guys to enjoy your weekends. I genuinely mean that. I'm super fucking serious. When you have days off which are dedicated to doing nothing, this is how you should manage your time. It's how I do it. When you should be working, designate time for working and then designate time for doing nothing. Don't have doing nothing as the go-to thing to do. You should put time aside to do nothing. And then you say to people who are like, hey, do you want to do this or can you help me with this? No, that is my do nothing time. And it's not an obscene amount of time, like 16 hours or something crazy. You have 2 hours set aside to do nothing. I schedule something like 5:30 to about 7 PM every day to do nothing. I do nothing. I spend time with Emma, we have a great time, and then after that I can carry on with some work or I can do whatever I need to do there. But I dedicate time to that. Don't have it in your schedule as trying to fill it with stuff to do. You should have a full schedule of things to do and dedicating time to doing nothing. And that's your do nothing time. And people should be aware of that. Hey, that's my do nothing time. I'm busy. I'm busy doing nothing. That's okay. That's fine. To be busy doing nothing is okay if you've been working all the way up to that point. If you've been doing nothing and then said, well, now's my do nothing time, that's a stabbing. That's a fuck up. Don't do it that way. Be busy, then dedicate time to do nothing. Because when you do nothing, you rest. That's all good. So, over the weekend, we had a friend staying with us who's actually my niece. My wonderful niece. Yes, I'm an uncle. I'm an uncle to several people. Actually, six. I have 6 nieces and nephews. I had 6 nieces and nephews when I was about age 13, if not younger. They all started to be spawned at that point. That's because my father had 2 wives. One when he was much younger, and he had my brother and sister, and then much older he met my mother. And there was a bit of an age gap there, and then I came along and blessed the world with a huge bro fist. Therefore, that my brother and my sister are considerably older than I am, and they have their own children, and they're very good friends of mine. Luckily, one of my nieces is particularly good friends with Emma, and they wanted to spend some time together this weekend, as it was the bank holiday in the UK, so they had a lot of time to spend time together. So on Saturday, she went to stay with us, and we went to a country fair where we took Ben to a country fair, and Ben came first. He got a rosette for being first place. It was a pity first, right? It is retarded. So Emma said she wanted Ben to be in a dog show, and it was a fun dog show. So if there was anybody below the age of 6 in there, they instantly got first place. It was that kind of show, all for fun, all for charity, all good stuff. One of the categories was rescue dogs. Which is like, you know, there was like blind dog in there. I shouldn't laugh, but it was funny. There's like a blind dog in there. It's like a dog with 1 leg and shit. And Ben, who looks like totally healthy. And then the guy gave the people the mic, and this guy's like, yeah, so he had this owner who like tore his eye out with a knife and stuff. And I'm waiting until he gets to Ben, who was a rescue, but he was a rescue at like 4 weeks of age. So he wasn't harmed particularly, just in very bad living conditions. And then the woman comes along and is like, yeah, a tractor like mowed 3 legs off my dog and stuff. So I'm sat there going, oh my god. Well, obviously she isn't going to win this category. Gets to Ben, and Emma, like a true performance artist. It was Oscar-winning performance. If I could have played piano music over my phone, over the loudspeaker, I would. She was like, so we found Ben, and he was, you know, he was surrounded by his dead brothers and sisters, which is kind of true, he was. And he was eating, you know, tinfoil wrappers and toilet paper, and he generally smelt like shit, and all this kind of stuff, and all the crowd's like, good God, little Ben. So as a reward, the guy gave everybody in the rescue class a first place because they were still alive and looking good. So Ben got a first place rosette that he got on his collar. I'm going to stick that picture on Facebook later because you guys always ask me about Ben and how's he doing. He's now got his first place. In the other categories, he didn't get placed at all because they had little children in there and they automatically got first place. So poor Ben didn't win anything in that category. Aww, very sad. So we had our niece over and going to collect my niece. She lives with my brother. And as I got there, I could see Guild Wars 2 on his screen. Guild Wars 2. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? And he's downloading Guild Wars 2. I was like, oh, so you've bought it? He's like, yeah, we've bought it. The girls have bought it. My 2 nieces have bought it. My nephew has bought it. They're all big gamers. My family is all gamers all the time, which is awesome. So I was like, oh, cool. Have you played the beta? And he's like, no. I was like, and then he asked me, are you going to play it? Like, most of my friends have been asking me, are you going to play Guild Wars 2? I said, no. It's coming round about Mr. Pandaria launch. It's coming round about the time of Borderlands 2. And at the moment, I'm doing all the preparing for Mr. Pandaria stuff. And I'm also working on The Way of the Warrior. I'm also writing another series. So I'm just really busy right now to do maybe comprehensive guides like you guys expect of Guild Wars 2. I'd have to play and read quite extensively to put out the quality of content you guys expect me to do. So I said, no, I'm going to leave it alone and see how it progresses. If it looks like it's doing really well, I'll probably give it a go. But right now, it's just the wrong time. So he's like, okay. Saturday goes without a hitch. We have the web show, which we had a great time with me and Ghost and you guys there. Always good. Told some stories. So go check that on the YouTube channel if you haven't seen it yet. A little bit of web show with me and Ghosty. And then we came back on the Sunday to take her home, take my niece home. Taking her home, it was war. Now, Emma couldn't come along, so it was just me and her, which meant I had some free time to sort of nerd out at my brother's, because Emma doesn't like nerding out. She wants to go, you know, because she doesn't want to sit and talk PCs for hours like I want to do. So I drove my niece home, and lo and behold, Guild Wars 2 is on the screen, but it's still downloading. Now, my brother says to me, the internet has been on and offline all day. It just so happens that when Guild Wars 2 launched, I think it was Virgin Media, maybe you guys in the UK can back that up, had real issues yesterday. So he couldn't get it to install, but luckily my niece had already downloaded and installed it, and he copied it from her PC across their internal home network, which is like fucking Mission Impossible and stuff. It's really cool. I can only dream of having such a setup. There's like 6 PCs in that house all wired together and talking to each other and stuff. It's really sweet. It's like permanent LANs. Oh, nerdgasm or what, having a permanent LAN. I'm almost there. I've got 2 machines. Just need like 4 more and then I'm in nerd heaven. I really am. Then I need to set up a Burger King in the corner and a little bar. Then I'm golden. That's my life's ambition. I'm done if I can get that set up. So I was asking, are you excited for it? He's like, yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's very PvP orientated and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, cool. But we didn't get to play it because it was having loads of download issues, and then the login servers were up and down like a fucking yo-yo. You sure you guys, the same as D3, same as I always say, weekend of launch is a nightmare for internet games. It always is, always will be. So Monday, he brought the new machine. It was coming from my brother. He had it and set it up and wiped it and stuff like that. So he came to set up this new PC, which is super fast now. How fucking weird is technology these days? I'm going to sound like an old man now, but does anybody remember TCP/IP sockets? These big fucking screw-on sockets and stuff like that. He literally turned up with the box. He said, have you got a keyboard and mouse? I said, yes. Have you got a monitor? No. We pulled out the old TV on an HDMI lead. Works like a treat. All sorted. Network cable from here to our switch. And that's it. Both PCs just picked it up. I was transferring data between the two, no problem at all. It was like 10 minutes of a job to create the mini LAN. How cool is that? That's how the way the world is now. It's so fucking awesome. No messing around with protocols and IPs and all that kind of crazy shit. Just doesn't happen anymore. It's like, oh, there's a PC on the network. Done. It's like my iPhone. I was not a fan of smartphones or Apple. I'm not an Apple fanboy by any means, but I've less trouble setting up an email account on my iPhone than I do on any computer I've ever touched. I got my iPhone and I was like, preachgaming@gmail.com, put my password in, it went, yeah, done, sorted. I was like, huh. Are you sure that's fine? It's like, yeah, there's all your emails. I was like, oh, holy shit. I fucking love technology. Where we're going to be in 20 years, it's going to be super kick-ass. So my brother turned up today, and he'd been playing all night on Guild Wars 2. So while he's setting this up, I was instinctively like, how's Guild Wars 2? And my brother's first response was, disappointed. I was like, oh, that's strange. Did you not play the beta? He's like, no, I didn't play the beta. And I asked my other niece who came with him, I was like, have you played it? She's like, well, not really. I didn't really like it. I'm like, odd. What's going on there? So today, before I started the show, I decided to check the news out and what's going on. Now, overall, it's a very mixed response. So I'm looking for you guys who've played it. I'm sure lots of you have been playing Guild Wars 2. What's your response on it? A couple of things that people have said is the new skill system is really awesome. Getting new weapons, changing your skill set when you do that, going underwater, fighting with harpoons like fucking Aquaman and shit. All that stuff is really, really cool. One of the huge, big complaints so far, and hopefully this is something to do with the launch period, is they have these overflow things. And it means you can't play with your friends, which is really, really bad for an MMO. If this carries on for a little while longer, people just aren't going to play, because this is a sort of deal breaker with an MMO world, is people join as friends. And apparently if the servers are overloaded, when you zone, you get moved to an overflow zone, which is like a mishmash cross-realm zone of random people just being plucked out of the world and plopped into this overflow realm. And the overflow realms on launch weekend are packed full of people. They're spawning like nobody's business. They have spare servers which spawn overflow realms so people can continue to seamlessly play. The only problem is it doesn't seem to match you up with your friends or people in party. Or this is what I'm being told from both my brother and what I've read on various online reports. Maybe you guys know a fix for that. You should post that out today. We'd like to see that. So we want to see, is this going to continue? That's really, really bad. If that's the case, is that you can't move between. Even Star Wars The Old Republic did the same thing. It did exactly the same thing, but you could jump between the two. So you could say your friends were in Instance Zone 1, you're in Instance Zone 2, and you could jump to Instance Zone 1. But an MMO that means you can't play with your friends on certain occasions is really bad news, especially while leveling, where you want to be with your friends in case gangsters come up and roll out and try to pop a cap in your ass. You want to be protected from that. You really, really do. So I'm really looking forward to your comments. Leave them in the YouTube video below, the comments. We'll take some questions from here in a moment. I just want to know what you guys think. How are you finding Guild Wars 2? Is it everything you hoped? Does it feel like it's something that's okay to level in and then you're not going to stick with it? I would like to know that. A lot of people saying here, I have friends that have left World of Warcraft to play Guild Wars 2. Bold move. A lot of people make quitting posts. I'm quitting to play Guild Wars 2. Why do that now if Voice of Vampira say, Mr. Pandaria launches so soon? Just say, yo, I'm going to take a month off while to check out Guild Wars 2 and then I'll make a decision. No need to post a big dramatic quitting post. Don't you love quitting posts? How long are they? What's the longest one you've read? I've read one that's pages long. Like a long drawn out fucking scroll. Like I should have found it in a jar or something in Greek times or Roman times. Just like, guys, the time. And they always have them dramatic beginnings. The time has come. The time is now. I am leaving World of Warcraft. I'm leaving you behind. And here's why. Here's a long, drawn-out, guilty-ass motherfucking post about why you're leaving your World of Warcraft guild. And everyone just goes, good luck. Sad to see you go. The time has come. And they sat there and they sweated over it and they poured over it and there was tears. Oh, man. Those goodbye posts, I could read them all day because they're always so awesome. And people let into like their personal lives and shit. Oh, wow. Fucking crazy. Yeah, the replies to quitting posts are see ya. Bye. I saw one that was 3 pages long. Wow, that's funny. Best quitting post so long, and thanks for all the fish. A little bit of classic there, a bit of classic. And then they're back a week later. Yeah, it's all a bit fucking mundane after that when they come back. Just say I'm taking a break. That's all anybody seems to do with World of Warcraft by now. If you've never learned, just say you're taking a break or you're leaving guild. Let's take some questions because there is a lot. Mr. Pandaria. Oh, I need a drink. I finally treated myself to a monster. Oh, glory to the fish. Fuck you, Germany, who doesn't seem to have Monster. Okay. Loads and loads and loads of you are emailing me about guilds and stuff. It's almost becoming quite apparent that you guys... Is this chair squeaking so fucking loud? I'm going to have to oil it. That you guys have a real big stigma in your mind and kind of look to someone else to back you up about leaving guilds. This is not strange considering the timing of now. With Mr. Pandaria approaching. There's a couple of examples that I plucked out of the list that I thought were pretty cool. Oil that shit up. A lot of people are sort of like, you know, I want to leave, but I just wish I had that guy like me to go, it's okay. Fortunately, I can't reply to you all individually. I can't do that. I would just look through the other dailies. We spoke a number of times about people leaving guilds and stuff. And I understand why you guys want some sort of affirmation that yes, it's a good thing to do, it's the right decision to you, or it's the wrong decision to do. As we saw last week, we had a guy who said, no, don't do that, do this. Think about it this way, or just hold tight and sit tight. So I picked out a couple of situations. One came from the stealth style. Nice. Stealth style. That kind of sounds like rape though, dude. Be a little bit careful of stealth style. Or thievery. I don't know why I jumped straight to rape over thievery, but yeah, either will do. Either is a stealthy style. A chap here who plays with his friends. He plays with his friends. They don't particularly want to boost their skill level, but he feels like he's getting better and he wants to move on. Common situation. Often happens with friends. And the good thing about it is you can still play with your friends no matter where you are. Your friends should, if they're not crazy, insane fucking people who just like take everything overly personally. You know, people who take everything you say like it's a real personal insult. Why do that? Especially from like a guy like me on the internet. A lot of people say, take what I say, like we saw with the piracy thing, take what I say really personally, like deep to heart. Don't do that. Especially if it's your friends. If your friend calls you a knob, one of the great things about me and Ghost's relationship is sometimes I get really, really angry. Ghost doesn't tend to make me angry most of the time. It's only Emma who can really drive me to insanity, to the point where I've smashed doors and stuff while Emma has drove me mad. But that's the good thing about somebody you love is, and I'm not talking on a weekly basis, I don't have rage issues or anything like that. Maybe once a year, twice a year, something like that. Something will happen and we're both in a bad mood, which is usually what happens in a couple, is that really bad mixture of you being in a bad mood and her being, or him, being in a bad mood. And then it collides, and you're both itching for a fight, and then it just explodes. Only Emma can really push me to the edge. Andy can be pushed to the edge by me sometimes, over silly things. And when that happens, the good thing is we had a conversation probably 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago when we got older, and arguments can seem a bit more serious than when you're a kid, which is not over like Tazos or fucking marbles or some shit, or who gets the next go on the wrestling game on the N64. Those kind of kiddie arguments that you have is like, I feel you have been playing too long on my console. Now as an adult we might say something like, excuse me fine sir, I believe you have had your allotted time on the console game and it is now my turn to play. Whereas a kid it's like, you've been fucking on forever, get the fuck off and give me the pad, 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 and then it breaks out into a war. As you get older, sometimes these things collide as well, and they become a little bit more serious. And I said to Andy, hey, you know what? I'm really sort of easygoing. I tend not to try and push anybody too far. I tend to just leave people alone who I don't like. I'm just like, well, fuck you, I haven't got time for you. I don't mind raging at me. If you want to rage at me, I'm fine with that, because 2 minutes later, I'm just going to talk to you like complete normal about something we need to do, especially while we're growing this business. Especially while we're growing, it's very important that if we have a problem, blah, rage it out. Let it all out, man. Don't fucking pussyfoot around and don't talk to me or anything like that. Just explode. I would rather you just explode in a big ball of fucking rage and get it all out of you like a huge orgasm of rage. And then let's talk about what we need to do at the web show next week. Awesome. Stuff like that. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with people going crazy at me. It helped me in work as well, because I work directly with my technicians. If they had a really bad grievance and they were ready for coming into the office and smashing the payroll woman's up because they, to pieces because they haven't been paid correctly and they've got mortgages and kids to feed, I always said, phone me first and rage at me, because I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't give a shit. You can scream at me all you want. I don't care. I'll just put the phone down and let you rage while I'm working. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm never not going to be okay with a good person because they had a moment of rage. Never going to happen. I suggest you do the same. So when your friends... how did I get so off topic about your friends? If you want to move on, your friends should be okay with it. And with cross-realm stuff, it's going to be fine. But if you feel you're being held back by your friends, and that's okay too. Friends can hold you back. As long as you're aware of it and prepared to do something about it, it's okay. Don't hold yourself back for a friend. That's bad. Don't do that. Ever. Never, 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 never. Don't do that unless it's really important, okay? Friends can hold you back. That's okay. You're all different. Some of you are smarter than others. Some of you are better at other things. That's fine. That's normal. Don't worry about it. It's all good. So even in the game, your friends can hold you back because they play for different reasons. Awesome. People play for different reasons in raid guilds. It's no different. So if you're ready to move on, tell them, guys, I think I'm going to try going really hardcore at Warcraft. And they'll be like, oh, you're such a nerd, elitist prick or whatever. But they'll be joking with you in general. Just say, nah, I think I want to give it a go. because I don't think the game's going to last too much longer. It might not do. I'm going to give it a bash. I'm going to go for it. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be super killer. And we can still play together because I have your real IDs because you're my real life friends and I still see you outside of the game or whatever. And we can still play together all the time. I just want to try my hand at a hardcore raid guild. And if you fancy it, maybe I can get you in. All good. Those are all truths. No lies. No bullshit. Don't lie to your friends. That's worse. Don't lie to your friends. That can only cause problems. Never lie to your friends. Especially good friends. If it's not a good friend, lie all you want. But if it's a good friend, never lie to your friends. Not worth it. The other one that I got, which is one example. One example is you're ready to move on. And you've got friends involved. It's okay. It's fine. Move on. You can still play with your friends. I play with my friends all the time. My characters are spread across 3 servers now. I play with them all the time. It's no problem. The other clue is now people are preparing for Mr. Pandaria. Guilds are preparing for Mr. Pandaria. And guilds, especially good guilds, don't know exactly who will stay and who will go. So they start spam recruiting. Spam recruiting. They recruit so many people. They recruit whoever they can get their hands on who might be good. Now, we had a question here from Ossian. Ossian is a Swede, a sexy Swede. I've never met an ugly Swede. Damn your race. Damn your race. He got an offer for one of these such guilds. A 6 out of 8 heroic guild, so still a mid-level guild, but considerably better than his current guild. So we assume it's Ossian. Yeah, I think it's Ossian. Is a good player. But again, he's got old friends in the other guild, and he's basically leaving them for a better guild. What should he do? What should he do? The simple answer is this. Is it the right move for you? Do you feel held back in the other guild, or are you just having a great time in your old guild? There's a law that everybody feels when they're going to get something better. That's human instinct, right? If someone says, hey, leave your friends behind, I'm going to give you $1 million. You ever seen the film Indecent Proposal? Good film, old school. A lot of you probably haven't seen it. It's got like Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson in it, and that handsome fuck who's dead old and never seems to get older. Robert Redford. Robert Redford. Robert Redford is a very wealthy, rich man. Demi Moore is apparently attractive. I don't see it. And Woody Harrelson is a gangster. You know what I mean? Bill fucking Murray. Woody Harrelson gets the bro fist every day. And Woody Harrelson is married to Demi Moore. Robert Redford sees Demi Moore and he wants to bang her, right? Like any good hot-blooded man would. He wants to bang Demi Moore. So he says to this, and they're a very reasonably not wealthy couple. He says, I will give you something like $1 million for one night with your wife. That's really tempting. It is to a long-term couple. That is really tempting. What's one night? And so they accept it. They accept it, and she goes off with Robert Redford on his big sexy yacht, and he bangs the shit out of her. He really does. He must have a dong like a donkey. Fucks her rotten on that boat. Absolutely takes her to school. And then, obviously, the marriage breaks down. Oh, shit, because there is nothing worse than your woman having sex with another man. You ain't getting that image out of your head. No way. Once you realise that she's had dong in her mouth, that is it. It's game over. You're never kissing her again. So, obviously, the allure of something really good, like a heroic guild, just consider, is what you've got right now all right? Is it good? Is it fine? Are you happy? If you're happy where you are, don't move. If you're not happy, think about moving. Those are the two situations. Very simple. Break everything down to its simplest form. Don't overcomplicate things. People will think about this decision for weeks and weeks and weeks. No need. You go, that's a good offer, but is it better than what I have now? I will get more progression, but I'm really, really happy now. So is it the right move for me to do? Maybe not. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not you. But those are the things. Make it easy on yourself. Don't think about it and dwell on it. Yeah, but I might get some slightly more gear items. But the other guild might do really well. Ugh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. They're all a bit serious about Mr. Pandaria, but this guild's already serious. What should I do? What should I do? And you sort of ponder it, and you just end up overthinking things massively. Don't do that. Just break it down to something simple. Am I happy here? Like, really happy, content, comfortable? I don't feel like I want to put more into the game. A lot of people join heroic guilds just to be in a heroic guild. And they're not prepared for the commitment it takes. And then they go, oh my god, you want me to like level 18 classes in the first week of the game? I can't do that. Be prepared for what awaits you in a progression guild. If you are raiding enough and still having a great social life, you're probably not ready for a step up. That's okay. That's fine. You're at where you need to be. That's cool. Let's take some questions from the audience, because I've been talking for a long time. Let's have a little drink while we're talking, then I'll read these. Compromise and get an epic wife. 6 out of 8 heroic now is a pretty terrible guild. Oh, the ego. It's a bunch of friends. 6 out of 8 heroic with a bunch of friends. All good. Great thing about having somebody local who you raid with is when you get an epic kill, it doesn't matter if it's a 1 out of 8 heroic or 7 out of 8 heroic or 8 out of 8 heroic. You can go and have a beer afterwards, and that's always awesome. When one of my old friends got a Thoradal, the legendary bow, I think he got it in our first Kill Jaden kill. He lived with other friends, and they instantly just left the raid, went and had a beer together in a bar. That's awesome. That is max nerding out. We're going for a beer to celebrate you getting a legendary. That's fucking cool. Progression owns everything. Ooh, hardcore attitude there. You'd be welcome in the top guilds. You would be welcome. Progression owns life. Live your character. Live it large. Live it large. Our mage is overpowered. Nope. Next. Oh, what videos are coming out today? Why you leave method? Web show part 2. I talk about it extensively there. What was I going to say then? Oh, today's video is coming out probably in a couple of hours. I've been so interested in it. It's a PvP video. Woo! It's a mini PvP video. It's going to be the journey to the Way of the Warrior 2, because obviously I have to practice, which means I'm putting time into the game, and therefore, if I think it's entertaining, I'm going to present it to you. So we did some battlegrounds with my friend Genji over the weekend. I think it was on Friday, actually. And I'm putting it together now. But the good thing about PvP stuff is I can certainly make it, I think, more interesting than a PvE video, where I'm talking about skills. That is the advantage of PvP videos, is there's a lot of action going on. Therefore, you can do a lot more to spice the action up even more. There's only so far you can spice up killing trash without having to put explosions and Dolph Lundgren and Chuck Norris in there somewhere. So with the PvP videos, I've probably got like 2 hours of footage, and I'm trying to create about a 5-minute video out of it. Lots of quick chops and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. So that should be coming out in the next couple of hours, hopefully. If I get it finished. I'm not going to rush it because I'm having a lot of fun editing it. Great job. That's what I like. What is the best spec for locking mop? Don't know. It's not been finalised yet. I get so many questions about specific classes and specs. The game's not out yet. We don't know. They can all change in an instant. So it's pointless me answering. Pointless. Anybody who does answer that question is a liar. Be aware of that. They're a liar. Did Genji steal all the kills? No, he came on his Discipline Priest. I can't actually... Oh, maybe I can. I'll give you a sneak teaser. Let me do this. Okay, and you should be able to see my desktop. I'll go into Vegas. This is the intro. Have I got sound on for you guys? I have. Hopefully this will come through, but this is my intro to the PvP video. Spell, 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 spell! I'm not the funnest person to PvP with, especially when I'm crowd controlled, which is ironic as I play a warrior. Okay, I'm a long-time Druid tank, however I have the other tank classes. Ah, classic question. I've been playing around the PTR and I feel Paladin tanks are way ahead. What's your opinion? My opinion is, unless Palatanks get some sort of huge, crushing, ball-stomping, King Kong-sized shit of the day change, Paladin tanks will always, always, always be ahead of other tanks, barring very, very specific situations. Very specific. I'm talking about kiting ads on Spine of Deathwing is generally better by a warrior. That's a 1 out of 4 option in a very specific encounter on a certain part of the encounter. However, the other tank should always be a Paladin tank. Balrog Heroic, Firelands, solo tanked, First World, by a Paladin tank. They have the cooldowns, they have the power, they have the technology. Paladin tanks always, always, always are generally, always generally, more powerful than the other tanks. They just are. It's just the way they're built. They are built to survive most situations. The other tanks, in my opinion, unless they get a huge, huge change, will always be weaker than the Paladin tank. Unfortunately, there will be some situations that each class will hold onto as like, yeah, but what about this boss? I'm better there. Good for you. Every other boss, the Paladin is better than you. Good for you for having your one fight where you can really shine. In general, Paladins are always going to be better. Sorry about that. They will always be better. Okay, whoa. Should we check the Lico's question? It's a big, big question. Preacher, I'm in a guild which got 6 out of 8 heroic. I've talked to the guild, co-master, and the guild's future. He claims that our realm consists of 75% kids, and recruiting proper people will be difficult for us this realm, and that at 25 runs are not possible for us to achieve. I've talked a lot with him about guild recruitment. He says, our only solution would be a realm transfer. What is your experience with this? Does guilds often fall apart after a realms transfer? Or, by the way, we're stuck on Spine. Any major tips? No tips for Spine. There is a million guides and stuff out there. You generally just need people to do their DPS. If you're stuck on Spine now, you've got some real weight. You're carrying a lot of dead weight. You really, really are. Spine of Deathwing to kill the tendons is the particularly difficult bit. You should be coping with that with the huge nerfs. Gotta say it. Do guilds fall apart after realm transfers? No, guilds fall apart just before realm transfers because some people, for some bizarre reason, hold on to their initial realm. I don't know why. I really don't know. We had people on Sylvanas, which was my main raiding, I would like to say my main raiding realm for the majority of my WoW career. And we discussed a realm transfer. Method transferred off there to Twisting Nether. We wanted to transfer off. No, they transferred to Xavier, sorry. My Horde guild, Kill Count Lost, wanted to transfer off as well because we ran into the same problem. Some servers are just dead as hell for good PvE players. And it's even worse now. We've been through this. The Problem of the Mist video highlights this. We are missing good, up-and-coming young blood PvEers who understand why PvE is good and know how to play in PvE. It's not easy. Never will be. Never has been. But they're becoming an extinct race because Blizzard made the content a touch too easy, let's say, and too accessible at an early level. So these young, hungry, ambitious raiders are disappearing off the map. Realm transfers are generally pretty cool, except for those people who are determined to stay on that realm. And to be honest, anybody who is so transfixed of something so petty as staying on a realm, I can't understand that justification anymore. I really can't. I've realm transferred lots of times and still in contact with the same people that I knew on my first realm, which was Balnazar and Alakir. I still talk to them to this day. No, I don't get it. Guilds don't tend to fall apart when you transfer. Just make sure that when you do transfer, you have somebody wise pick your server. The choices for method for moving from Xavius to Twisting Nether was a long, extensive process. They really, really went into depth with where to go. Some people transfer realms with their guild to a realm that still has no PvE raiders available. So make your mind up from that, my friend. Make your mind up from that. And as you said, yeah, if you're still 6 of 8 now, it's probably not worth it. You will be carrying a lot of slack and a lot of chaff. If people are transferring realms for your guild, they will expect a raid spot, and rightfully so. If you're going to realm transfer off, you should start cutting away those people that you're carrying. You really should. Will I start my own guild in MOP? No, I won't. I'm going to take a couple more questions if I can find some. You almost make it sound like if a raid doesn't have a paladin tank, they won't be successful. Absolutely not. They will be fine. They will have an easier time with a paladin tank. Just as simple as that. They will be fine. Paladin tanks are just generally better. But it's not as if you can't get through without one. You can't get by without one. You can do just fine. But you would have an easier time with a paladin tank. Simple as. Try not to take things I say to crazy extremes. They transfer also because there's fat boss guys on Twisting Nether. No. No. Is guild loyalty a bad thing? No, to a certain extent. Some people take guild loyalty far too far. Far too far? What horrific grammar. Some people take guild loyalty to extremes. To the point that they will... and I've done this. You stay with your guild till the bitter, bitter end. And you hate logging in. You hate organizing anything, and you hate everything about World of Warcraft because you are silly enough to watch the guild dissolve around you instead of accepting the inevitable truth. Sometimes things need a bullet to the head. That is the way it goes. If your guild is dying, I'm not saying preemptively, let's say we had a tiger. I watched a film last night where a tiger was put to sleep, so it makes relevant sense. It was called We Bought a Zoo with Matt Damon and Scarlett Johansson. It's a shit film. But either way, there was a tiger in it that was dying. Scarlett Johansson, as the zookeeper, said to Matt Damon, who was a owner but not of affinity with animals, that we need to kill the tiger. It's dying. And Matt Damon would not let it die because he has hope and dreams that the guild will live on, or the tiger will live on. I could do it, he said. He's just got a cold. He will be absolutely fine. Ultimately, of course, the tiger gets shot in the head. And you have to go through a lot of pain and suffering to actually reach that conclusion unnecessarily. If somebody wiser than you who generally knows more than you tells you this guild is going to die. And I'm not talking about bitching over Skype or some sort of innocuous whispers, this guild shit, everybody's a dick. I think the guildmaster's stealing everything from the guild. He took all the Zul'Gurub bijous. Oh my god, what a dick. Any old schoolers will know that reference. That used to happen a lot. Some people like to jump ship very early. Let them go. If you think in your mind this guild is dying, then it's time to look elsewhere, and don't wait around for it, because if you do, you will have a really horrible experience. Guild loyalty is fine. That doesn't mean you need to sacrifice everything in yourself and your own fun of the game to make it work. It really doesn't. Right, boys! I am going to leave you till tomorrow, 5 PM. I'm going to continue with my PvP video. I hope it's going to be fantastic. A brofist to you all. If you're in Britain, enjoy the rest of your holiday as much as you can. It's rare that it comes along. Make best use of it. And for the rest of the world, I hope your holidays are coming soon. I know in the US it's next week. Have a great time. I look forward to seeing you. See you tomorrow, ballers. Whoop. Okay, that transition. Smooth. What?